Have you ever wondered what really happens when someone hurts the ones chosen by Allah? Not the powerful, not the wealthy, but the silent souls who walk unnoticed. Those whose hearts carry divine light. Ibn Arabi once said, "Beware of the hearts that belong to Allah, for when you wound them, you are not striking flesh. You are striking the throne of mercy itself." Every generation has these hidden ones. They don't seek fame. They don't argue. They don't boast. Yet when people mock them, betray them, or try to break them, something mysterious begins to unfold. The world itself seems to shift. Doors close for the ones who caused harm. Blessings vanish. Peace disappears. And strange storms enter their lives. Why? Because Allah Himself becomes the protector of those who belong to Him. This is not a myth or a story. It's a spiritual law written into the fabric of existence. The chosen ones are not here to fight. They are here to awaken hearts. But when they are hurt, creation defends them. When they are silenced, heaven speaks for them. Today we'll explore Ibn Arabi's hidden warning, the secret truth of what happens when you hurt Allah's chosen ones, and why no force on earth can touch what Allah has chosen to protect. Every generation carries within it a few souls who are chosen by Allah. Though the world rarely notices them, they do not seek fame, power, or recognition. They move quietly through life, guided by an unseen hand, carrying the fragrance of mercy wherever they go. Ibn Arabi called them the hidden pillars of the world, those through whom Allah's compassion continues to reach humanity. They are the kind of people whose prayers protect entire communities, whose patience absorbs the anger of others, and whose silence speaks louder than sermons. Yet, because they do not wear crowns or robes of authority, many mock them, betray them, or speak against them. What people forget, Ibn Arabi warned, is that these chosen ones are not ordinary servants. They belong to Allah in a special way. Their pain is witnessed by the divine, and every injustice done to them becomes recorded in the unseen realm. To harm them, even with words, is to challenge a protection that is not human but heavenly. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said that Allah declared, "Whoever shows enmity to my friend, I have declared war against him." Ibn Arabi explained this not as a threat of wrath, but as the unfolding of divine justice, an invisible shield surrounding those beloved to Allah. When you wrong them, life itself begins to turn against you, not because they curse you, but because the order of the universe defends them. Every trial they endure becomes light for them, and every harm done to them becomes a burden upon the one who caused it. This is the unseen warning written into the fabric of creation: never hurt those whom Allah has chosen to carry His light. Ibn Arabi taught that the chosen ones, the Awliya of Allah, live under a covenant unlike any other. Their strength is not drawn from wealth, armies, or words. It flows directly from the nearness of their hearts to the divine. They may appear ordinary, but within them burns a flame that the world cannot extinguish. Every breath they take is an act of remembrance. Every moment of silence, a form of prayer. Because of this deep connection, they walk under a protection that is both subtle and absolute. Ibn Arabi described it as a hidden law written into the structure of the universe. Whoever tries to harm them is, without realizing it, striking against the current of divine will. This protection is not a barrier of stone or steel. It is a living energy that surrounds their souls. When someone mocks, slanders, or betrays them, that negativity does not destroy them. It circles back to its source. The universe, guided by divine order, mirrors what each heart sends out. For the chosen ones, this means that every attack becomes a blessing, every insult a purification. Their enemies, however, often find their own peace fading away, as if life itself begins to resist their arrogance. Ibn Arabi explained that Allah's friends do not need to defend themselves, because reality itself defends them. The harm meant for them transforms into wisdom, and the pain inflicted upon them returns as light. In this way, the Awliya remain untouchable, not by force, but by divine alignment. This is the law of protection that surrounds those who live in constant remembrance, an unseen armor forged from faith, patience, and the love of Allah. The chosen ones often live lives that appear lonely and difficult. They are misunderstood, rejected, and even betrayed by those closest to them. Ibn Arabi wrote that this isolation is not a punishment. It is a divine protection in disguise. Allah hides His beloved servants from the eyes of those who cannot see with the heart. The world may mock them for their simplicity, question their silence, or mistake their humility for weakness. But behind that veil of struggle lies the deepest form of divine companionship. The chosen ones are not alone. They walk in the company of angels and under the constant gaze of their Lord. When people turn against them, it is not random. It is a spiritual test for both sides. For the chosen, it is a lesson in patience, in letting go of all but Allah. For those who hurt them, it is a hidden trial to reveal what lies within their hearts. Ibn Arabi said that how you treat a servant of Allah reveals the state of your own soul. If you mock a person who carries light, you are turning away from that light within yourself. And so life arranges events in perfect symmetry. The one who harms the chosen only harms himself, while the chosen rise higher through every act of betrayal. The more the world rejects them, the closer they are drawn to the divine presence. Every closed door becomes an invitation to the door of Allah. Their loneliness becomes worship. Their tears become prayers. In time, those who once opposed them begin to feel the weight of their own actions, as reality itself defends those who belong to the most merciful. Divine justice, Ibn Arabi explained, does not move with the speed of human anger. It moves with the rhythm of wisdom. When a person harms a friend of Allah, the world may stay silent for a while, the wrong may seem forgotten, and the oppressor might even appear to rise. But in truth, every act, every word, and every intention has already been recorded in the unseen. The law of divine balance never sleeps. It may delay, but it never fails. Ibn Arabi compared it to the tide of the ocean, quiet and patient, yet powerful enough to shape mountains over time. What seems like silence from Allah is never neglect. It is the calm before the unfolding of perfect justice. Those who harm the chosen often believe they have escaped. They slander, betray, and break hearts, thinking no one has seen. Yet what they do not realize is that they have planted a seed that will grow into a reflection of their own act. The pain they caused will visit them in ways they cannot predict, sometimes through loss, sometimes through sleeplessness, sometimes through a deep emptiness that no wealth or success can fill. This is not cruelty from Allah, it is mercy disguised as consequence. Ibn Arabi wrote that divine justice is not about revenge, but about revelation. It reveals to each soul what it truly carries inside. Every injustice becomes a mirror. When you harm light, you expose your darkness. When you protect light, you strengthen your own. The chosen ones do not need to fight for justice. They do not argue, defend themselves, or seek to prove their innocence. They remain silent, for they know something deeper, that Allah Himself is their defender. Ibn Arabi said that when a heart belongs entirely to Allah, the entire creation moves to serve and protect it. The elements, the time, and even people who do not believe become tools in the divine plan. Sometimes the protection comes as peace in the middle of chaos. Sometimes it comes as the downfall of the one who wronged them, not by sword or curse, but by the turning of fate itself. Imagine a person who tries to harm a saint of Allah. At first, everything seems to go in their favor. They may feel victorious, confident, untouchable, but slowly the world begins to close around them. Relationships begin to crumble, peace disappears, and blessings start to fade. The same energy they sent out, the hate, jealousy, and deceit, returns to them multiplied. Life reflects their actions back to them, so they can witness the weight of what they carried. This is how Allah teaches, without raising a voice, without striking directly. The lesson unfolds through experience, until the soul realizes the truth, that justice in the divine order is not delayed, it is perfect. For the chosen ones, this truth is their quiet comfort. They do not curse those who harm them. They pray for them. They know that the universe itself will balance every scale. Ibn Arabi said that Allah never forgets the tear of his friend, and that every sigh uttered in patience becomes a sword of light in the unseen world. The Awliya understand that every injustice is temporary, every loss is preparation, and every betrayal is purification. What seems like defeat is often divine strategy. The harm they receive becomes the fire that purifies their hearts, lifting them higher in nearness to Allah. Meanwhile, those who hurt them are not doomed without hope. Divine justice is always balanced with mercy. Allah allows them to taste the consequence so they can awaken, repent, and return. Ibn Arabi's writings remind us that the purpose of these trials is not to destroy, but to reveal. It is Allah showing the oppressor his own reflection, so that he may see, regret, and seek forgiveness. Some understand this in time and transform. Others remain blind, and their arrogance becomes their downfall. So when the chosen ones are wronged, they remain calm. They do not seek revenge, for they know the higher truth. No one escapes divine law. The world is not ruled by chaos but by order, an order written by the hand of the most just. Ibn Arabi's wisdom teaches that silence, patience, and trust in Allah are greater than any retaliation. For the friend of Allah, justice is never delayed. It only arrives in the perfect moment, wrapped in wisdom, soaked in mercy, and carried by the unseen forces of the divine. And so, if you ever see a person harm one of Allah's chosen and believe they have won, remember this: the story is not over. The world may seem quiet, but divine justice is already at work. Allah does not forget his friends. Time itself becomes their protector, and destiny becomes their witness. Who are the chosen ones of Allah? The question has echoed through the hearts of seekers for centuries. Ibn Arabi, the great Sufi master, said that the Awliya, those known as the friends of Allah, are not recognized by crowns, turbans, or positions of power. They do not announce themselves, and the world rarely recognizes them. They live hidden among people, sometimes appearing as merchants, teachers, travelers, or beggars. Their greatness lies not in what the world can see, but in what only Allah knows. Ibn Arabi wrote that they are the hidden kings of the earth, whose authority is unseen, but whose influence quietly shapes destiny itself. The secret of the Awliya begins in the heart. It is not a title you earn by age, lineage, or learning. It is a light placed by Allah in the soul of one who has surrendered completely. These are people whose hearts have been purified through pain, patience, and prayer. They have walked through fire and come out with gentleness. They have faced betrayal and responded with forgiveness. They have lost everything and still whispered, Alhamdulillah. Their secret power lies in this surrender. When the ego dies, the divine fills the space it leaves behind. Ibn Arabi said that the true saint is the one whose will has become one with Allah's will, who desires nothing but what Allah desires. Such a person may walk among us unseen, yet the entire universe bends gently around their presence. Their lives are often quiet, but never ordinary. They are guided by inspiration rather than ambition. They move only when moved by Allah, and they speak only when silence would hide truth. Many of them are never known publicly, because fame would destroy the humility that protects their hearts. Ibn Arabi explained that Allah hides his friends behind veils of simplicity, so that arrogance and hypocrisy cannot reach them. Some are known as saints, others as scholars, and some are never recognized at all. But wherever they are, the world around them changes in subtle, invisible ways. Rain falls where they pray. Hearts soften in their presence. People who meet them feel peace without knowing why. Their secret is not in miracles, but in their nearness to the source. They do not perform wonders to impress the world. The real miracle is the peace they carry. Ibn Arabi said that the Awliya are like the heart in the human body. Though hidden, they keep the world alive. When the heart beats in remembrance, the entire creation breathes through it. That is why, even when chaos fills the earth, there is always balance somewhere. Because somewhere, an unknown saint is praying. Somewhere, a hidden servant of Allah is forgiving, and that forgiveness holds back storms we cannot see. To hurt such a person is to wound light itself. The Awliya are not protected by armies, but by the divine command. Allah himself becomes their guardian. Ibn Arabi described this as a circle of sanctity, where every attempt to harm them is turned back by unseen hands. Those who try to destroy them end up destroying themselves. This is not superstition. It is the design of divine justice. The heart that carries Allah's remembrance becomes a mirror of his attributes: mercy, patience, and power. To strike such a heart is to strike at the reflection of the divine. The consequence is inevitable. The harm never reaches its target. It bends, circles, and returns. But what truly distinguishes the Awliya is not their power. It is their compassion. Even when hurt, they do not curse their enemies. They cry for them. They ask Allah to guide those who have wronged them, because they see ignorance as blindness, not evil. Their hearts are oceans that can absorb storms without losing calm. They forgive not because they are weak, but because they see through the veil of the world. They understand that the one who harms them is only acting from a place of spiritual illness. Ibn Arabi wrote that the saint's heart is a reflection of the divine heart. It holds mercy even for those who reject mercy. The Awliya live lives that often seem simple, even sorrowful, but within that simplicity lies immense spiritual depth. Their nights are filled with prayer, their days with quiet service. They may walk through crowded markets or dusty roads, and no one notices the radiance around them. They do not announce their holiness because they seek no followers, no wealth, no praise. They live for Allah alone. Every heartbeat is dhikr, every breath is gratitude, and every step is an act of obedience. The world may not know their names, but the heavens know their scent. Angels recognize them by the fragrance of their remembrance. Ibn Arabi said that the saints are Allah's mercy walking on earth. Through them, the balance of the world is maintained. Through them, blessings descend upon families, cities, and nations. They are the unseen intercessors whose prayers avert disasters and soften divine decrees. When one of them dies, the earth weeps, because the place that carried their footsteps has tasted the presence of someone who belonged to heaven. Yet the greatest secret of the Awliya is that they see Allah in everything. For them, there is no separation between the seen and the unseen, the sacred and the ordinary. The light of Allah shines through every event, every face, every breath. That is why they can forgive. That is why they can love those who harm them. They have seen what others have not. They understand that every soul is on its journey, and that no act, no word, and no pain is outside the plan of the most merciful. So when you meet someone who radiates calm without speaking, who forgives easily, who carries a strange peace that the world cannot disturb, know that you may be standing in the presence of one of Allah's chosen, and if ever you are tempted to harm, mock, or betray such a person, remember Ibn Arabi's warning: to strike them is to strike at the hand of the one who sent them. To wound them is to wound your own heart. For Allah's friends are not ordinary people. They are reflections of His mercy walking among us. Their secret is hidden from the eyes of the arrogant, but open to those who seek with humility, and the one who honors them, even in silence, finds themselves honored by Allah in ways no eye has seen and no heart can imagine. There are moments in life when everything around you begins to fall apart, yet somehow you remain standing. You don't understand why the storm that should have destroyed you only pushed you closer to Allah. You look back at what tried to break you and realize something unseen was guarding you the entire time. Ibn Arabi called this the circle of divine protection. It is not something earned through wealth, status, or prayer alone. It is a mercy placed around those whose hearts live in remembrance. The chosen ones of Allah walk beneath a canopy of protection that is invisible to others, yet it shapes every moment of their lives. This protection does not mean life is free of pain. In fact, those closest to Allah often experience the deepest trials. They lose what they love, they face betrayal, and they walk through loneliness that cuts to the soul. But beneath all of it, there is a strange peace that never leaves them. Ibn Arabi explained that when Allah loves a servant, He tests them, not to harm, but to purify. He removes the illusions that distract the heart from Him, one by one, until nothing remains but the connection between the servant and the Creator. And while the world sees only loss, what's really happening is transformation. If you are among the protected, you will notice patterns that others overlook. When people plot against you, their plans quietly fall apart. When someone tries to humiliate you, they end up exposing themselves. When doors close in your face, they are doors that would have led to harm, and the ones that open lead to unseen blessings. At first you might think it's coincidence, but Ibn Arabi said there is no coincidence for the one who walks under Allah's gaze, only precision. Every delay, rejection, and obstacle is divinely measured to protect you from something unseen. You may wonder, why does Allah protect me if I am still so flawed? Ibn Arabi's answer was simple: because you belong to Him. Allah's protection is not reserved for the perfect. It is given to those who keep returning. The chosen ones are not sinless. They are sincere. They fall, but they never stay down. They weep, but their tears are prayers. Their strength lies in their surrender. When they say, Ya Allah, the heavens respond. Their hearts are soft toward others and firm in truth, and this purity of intention invites the divine shield that surrounds them. Another sign of divine protection is that the wrong people begin to leave your life. Sometimes those departures feel painful. Friends turn distant, relationships end, opportunities disappear. But what you don't see is that Allah is clearing the path for your soul's growth. Ibn Arabi wrote that Allah removes from your life anyone who might pull your heart away from Him, because the journey of the chosen cannot be shared with everyone. Some people are sent only to teach you, to test you, or to awaken you. Once their role is complete, they must leave, even if you still want them to stay. And though your heart aches, it is mercy disguised as loss. The protected soul also feels guided in moments of confusion. When they are about to make a wrong decision, something within them hesitates, a feeling, a sign, a sudden obstacle. Ibn Arabi called this the whisper of divine direction. It is Allah's way of steering His servant without words. You may call it intuition, but it is far deeper than that. It is the unseen hand of the divine preventing you from falling where others would. The closer you draw to Allah through remembrance, the clearer this guidance becomes. You stop chasing what the world calls success and begin seeking what the soul calls peace. There is also protection in silence. The chosen ones are often misunderstood. People speak against them, twist their words, and spread rumors. Yet they do not argue or defend themselves because they know Allah defends them in ways the tongue never could. Ibn Arabi wrote that silence is the shield of the saint. It allows truth to reveal itself without interference. In time, lies collapse under their own weight, while the truth of the chosen stands untouched. The more they are attacked, the stronger their light becomes, because it is purified through patience. Sometimes, divine protection appears as what you fear most: failure. You lose something you thought you couldn't live without: a job, a person, a dream. And only later do you realize that its absence saved you. Ibn Arabi said that Allah hides His mercy in the wrapping of pain. What looks like a wound is often the doorway to wisdom. The heart that breaks under divine watch does not shatter, it expands. Through every disappointment, Allah is carving space within you for more light. Every heartbreak becomes a container for compassion. Every loss a reminder that nothing but Allah remains forever. Another sign of divine protection is when peace follows chaos. You endure something heavy: betrayal, loss, injustice. And yet, instead of bitterness, your heart feels lighter. That is not natural peace. It is divine peace. Ibn Arabi explained that when Allah takes charge of a soul, He replaces revenge with serenity and anger with understanding. The protected soul does not crave to see others punished. It simply trusts that Allah sees, knows, and handles every matter perfectly. This trust is the highest form of security, for the one who relies on Allah is never unguarded. The chosen ones often sense this unseen guardianship in their solitude. When they sit alone in silence, they can feel the presence of something vast and protective surrounding them. The air feels softer, time feels slower, and the world seems to pause around their remembrance. This is not imagination, it is alignment. Ibn Arabi said that when the servant's heart beats in remembrance, the entire universe aligns to keep that heart beating. Even the elements serve the one who serves Allah. Wind becomes gentle, rain becomes mercy, and time itself bends to favor them. Yet, the greatest sign of divine protection is not what happens around you, it's what happens within you. When you begin to feel content with Allah's decree, when your heart remains steady, even when the world shifts, that is the mark of protection. It means your soul has entered the state of tawakkul, complete trust. The storms may still rage, but they can no longer uproot you, because your roots are anchored in faith. Ibn Arabi called this the inner fortress of the believer. Nothing external can harm the one who is protected from within. So if you look at your life and notice that every hardship somehow brings you closer to Allah, that every betrayal leads you to deeper prayer, that every ending teaches you a higher kind of love, then know this: you are already within the circle of divine protection. Allah is shaping you into one of His chosen. You may not see the full plan, but you are living it. Every pain, every delay, every silence is part of that protection working in ways beyond your sight. And perhaps this is the greatest secret Ibn Arabi left for the seekers, that divine protection is not a wall that keeps the world out. It is a light that shines so brightly within you that no darkness can last around it. The one who carries that light walks through fire and emerges untouched, because the fire itself bows before the one protected by Allah. There is a mystery in how Allah protects His chosen ones. A mystery so deep that only silence can truly hold it. Ibn Arabi wrote that the Awliya, the friends of Allah, live under a divine command that cannot be broken by any human hand or worldly force. Their lives may look ordinary, but they are woven directly into the pattern of divine will. Every breath they take, every step they walk, every pain they endure carries meaning in the unseen world. And those who dare to harm them, mock them, or stand against them are not fighting flesh and blood. They are colliding with a command from Allah Himself. This is the hidden warning Ibn Arabi spoke of, that the chosen ones are not merely people of prayer or wisdom, but living vessels of divine mercy. When someone hurts them, it is as if they have struck a mirror that reflects the light of Allah. The blow does not break the light. It only bounces back upon the one who delivered it. For every insult, there is a silent echo in the unseen. For every act of cruelty, there is a quiet rebalancing in the fabric of creation. The chosen need not defend themselves, because the universe is already moving in their defense. Divine justice does not shout, it unfolds. It moves slowly, like dawn breaking through the night, until every shadow is replaced by light. The greatest proof of this protection is found not in stories of punishment, but in the serenity of the chosen ones themselves. Even when surrounded by enemies, they do not panic. Even when betrayed, they do not curse. Their silence is not weakness, it is trust. They know the one who sees all. Ibn Arabi said that true faith is not proven when life is easy, but when the world turns dark and the heart still says, Allah is enough for me. The Awliya live in this state always. They do not rely on people, reputation, or worldly justice. Their only shield is surrender. Their only weapon is patience. When people harm them, Allah takes the matter personally. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that Allah declares, "Whoever shows enmity to a friend of mine, I have declared war upon him." Ibn Arabi reflected deeply on this hadith and wrote that Allah's war is not like the wars of men. It is not noise, blood, or destruction. It is the quiet unfolding of truth. The one who wrongs a saint finds the very world turning against them in subtle ways. Blessings dry up, peace disappears, doors close one by one, until they realize they have cut themselves off from the source of light. This is not cruelty, it is divine correction. Allah allows them to feel the weight of their actions, so that they might repent and return before it is too late. For the chosen ones, every wound becomes a sign. The betrayals they endure refine them. The pain they face polishes the mirror of their hearts. Ibn Arabi said that the beloveds of Allah are tested, not to break them, but to reveal them. Their suffering becomes their purification, and their patience becomes their throne. When the world rejects them, Allah draws them closer. When people abandon them, angels gather around them. Their isolation is not punishment, it is the divine whisper saying, "Come nearer." But this truth carries a warning for the rest of us. The way we treat the servants of Allah reveals who we truly are. Ibn Arabi often reminded his students that arrogance toward even a humble believer is arrogance toward Allah. When you see someone praying in silence, someone serving others quietly, or someone whose heart carries peace while the world is in chaos, be careful with your words. You never know who stands before you. The friend of Allah is often hidden beneath ordinary appearances. To mock them is to invite loss. To honor them is to draw nearer to mercy. The heavens themselves protect the dignity of the Awliya, even when the world forgets them. There are countless stories throughout time that illustrate this truth. A man once mocked a poor Sufi dervish, thinking him mad. Years later, that same man's fortune collapsed, and he found himself wandering in despair. Only then did he remember the dervish's silent eyes, filled with compassion, even when insulted. He understood too late that he had mocked the one who prayed for his safety. Ibn Arabi explained such stories not as superstition, but as law, spiritual cause and effect. The hearts that carry divine remembrance are not just hearts, they are instruments of balance in creation. To harm them is to disturb that balance, and the disturbance returns to its source. Yet even in their power, the chosen ones do not rejoice when others suffer. Their hearts are too pure for that. When Allah's justice unfolds against those who wronged them, they weep and pray for mercy. Ibn Arabi said that the saint's compassion extends even to his enemies, because he sees no other left, only souls lost in darkness, unaware of the light they fight against. The chosen do not seek revenge. They seek transformation. They know that vengeance belongs only to Allah, and that His mercy can rewrite any destiny. If you ever wonder whether someone is among Allah's friends, do not look for miracles or titles. Look for the way they make you feel. Do you feel at peace around them? Do they remind you of Allah even when they say nothing? That is the scent of sanctity. Ibn Arabi wrote that the Awliya are like perfume in a hidden bottle. Those who have the sense of the heart can smell it, while others pass by unaware. To sit with them, even briefly, changes something inside you. You may not understand why, but you leave with your heart softened and your thoughts quieted. That is their silent miracle. The protection that surrounds these people is not just for themselves. It extends to those who love them, serve them, and walk beside them. Ibn Arabi said that the friends of Allah are like lamps in a dark city. Those who stand near their light are also illuminated. So if you wish to be among the protected, seek their company, even if only through prayer. Respect those who live sincerely. Help those who walk humbly. Defend those who carry truth, even when it is unpopular. For to stand beside Allah's friends is to stand within His mercy. And what of those who continue to harm them? Ibn Arabi's words are clear. They harm only themselves. The chosen cannot be destroyed, because their protection is written in the divine decree. The more they are opposed, the higher they rise. Every curse sent against them becomes a blessing. Every attempt to break them becomes the reason they ascend. The enemies of the Awliya are like people throwing stones at the moon, only exhausting themselves while the moon remains untouched. So remember this final truth. Never fear for the chosen ones. They walk under the command of Allah. They are never alone, even when abandoned. They are never defeated, even when the world thinks they have fallen. The storms that rage against them only reveal their strength, and the darkness that surrounds them only makes their light more visible. Ibn Arabi said that the saint is a mirror of the divine name Al-Hafiz, the protector. Whoever touches them with love is blessed. Whoever touches them with harm faces the very hand of that protection. And perhaps the deepest wisdom of all is this: Allah does not protect the chosen because they are special. He protects them because they have surrendered completely. Their hearts no longer belong to themselves, and so He takes ownership of their safety. They have given up everything for Him, and in return He becomes everything for them. So when you see a soul walking in silence, radiating peace, forgiving easily, and standing firm in truth, know that you are witnessing something sacred. And when you hear of someone wronging such a soul, step back. Do not join in mockery. Do not stay silent in injustice, and do not envy their calm. Instead, remember Ibn Arabi's hidden warning: what happens to those who harm Allah's chosen ones is not for the world to decide. It is written by the hand of the Most High. Because in the end, no hand can touch what Allah protects, and no darkness can overcome a heart that shines with His light. So now you know. The chosen ones are not defined by titles, robes, or miracles. They walk quietly, often unnoticed, carrying the fragrance of heaven in a world that no longer smells of faith. They are the ones who forgive when they could destroy, who pray for those who betrayed them, who remain calm while storms roar around them. And because they have surrendered completely, Allah Himself becomes their shield. Ibn Arabi said that when you harm a servant whose heart belongs to Allah, you have already written your own trial. But when you honor them, even with a smile, the mercy of the unseen begins to flow toward you. This is the hidden balance that rules the universe. Unseen, silent, but absolute. So the next time you meet someone who carries peace in their silence, humility in their strength, and light in their eyes, be gentle. You might be standing before a friend of Allah, a soul written in His protection since the beginning of time. And if you are one of those who feels constantly tested, misunderstood, and alone, perhaps you are not being punished, but chosen. Perhaps Allah is not hiding you from the world, but hiding the world from you. Remember this truth. No one can touch what Allah protects. No lie can silence what Allah uplifts. And no darkness can ever extinguish the light that was lit by the divine. Walk humbly, protect your heart, and let your silence speak. Because those who belong to Allah are never forgotten, and their story is always written in light.